Well, when the ancient world seems impossibly advanced, when we think about technology, we usually think about the modern world, computers, satellites, artificial intelligence, smartphones, machines capable of performing millions of calculations every second. Technology feels like the desire of centuries of progress. This, with each generation building upon the discoveries of the last, and in many ways that is true, but history is not always as straightforward as we imagine. Sometimes archaeologists uncover objects that seem strangely out of place, artifacts that challenge our assumptions about what ancient people knew and what they were capable of achieving. These discoveries often force us to reconsider the past, not because ancient civilizations possessed modern technology, they do not, but because they sometimes develop solutions so clever, so effective, and so advanced that they seem almost impossible for their area. The ancient worlds were filled with inventors, engineers, astronomers, and craftsmen. People who carefully observed nature, studied mathematics, experimented with materials, and developed remarkable technology using only the tools available to them. Without electricity, without computers, without industrial machinery. Yes, their achievements continue to surprise us. For generations, for people view ancient society as relatively simple. The imagined civilizations slowly progressing from a primitive beginning towards modern knowledge, but archaeological discoveries have revealed a much more complicated picture. Again and again, researchers have uncovered evidence of sophisticated engineering, advanced scientific understanding, and technological skill that were far ahead of what historians once believed possible. Some ancient builders created structures capable of surviving earthquake for centuries. Others developed materials that modern scientists are still trying to fully understand. Some designed mechanical devices so complex that experts initially failed to believe they were genuinely ancient. In certain cases, knowledge was even lost. A technology would emerge, flourish for a time, and then disappear from history. Generations later, people would discover the same principle and assume they were entirely new invention. This raises an intriguing question. How much ancient knowledge has been forgotten? How many innovations vanished when empire collapsed, cities were abandoned, or libraries were destroyed? History is filled with gaps, and some of those gaps may contain remarkable story of human ingenuity. Of course, it's important to separate fact from fantasy. Ancient civilizations did not possess airplane, computer, or advanced machine hidden from the rest of the world. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The true story is far more interesting. Of course, what ancient people accomplished was real. Their achievement was not the result of magic, nor were they the work of mysterious lost spirit civilizations. They were the product of observation, creativity, persistence, and intelligence. The more we study the ancient world, the more we realize that our ancestors were often far more capable than we once imagined. In this journey, we will explore some of the most remarkable technology ever created in ancient world. We will examine a mysterious chemical device discoveries in a shipwreck that many describe as the world's first analog computer. We will uncover the secrets of Roman concrete, a material so durable that some ancient structures still stand after 2,000 years. We will investigate the controversial Baghdad Battery, an artifact that continues to spark debates among historians. We will explore the engineering achievement of the Inca civilization high in the Andes Mountains. And we will learn about a legendary weapon known as Greek fire, a technology so effective that its secret was eventually lost forever. Each of these inventions tell a different story, a story of innovation, experimentation, and human ingenuity. Together, they reveal an important truth. The ancient world was not a time of ignorance. This was a world filled with brilliant minds searching for solutions to difficult problems. And sometimes the answers they discovered were so remarkable that they continue to interest us thousands of years later. Because the greatest technology mystery may not be what ancient civilizations built. It may be how much of their knowledge has been lost to time. Part 2. The Antikythera Mechanism, the world's first computer. In the spring of 1900, a group of supposed divers searching the water of the small Greek island made us discover that would become one of the greatest mysteries in the history of technology. The divers had taken shelters from a storm near the island of Antikythera located between mainland Greece and Crete. While exploring the seafloor, they stumbled upon the remains of an ancient strip creek. Scratchers among the wreckage were statues, pottery, jewelry, and other valuable artifacts. It appeared to be an ordinary archaeological recovery. Only at first, as researchers began recovering objects from the site, they noticed something unusual among the corrodic remains. It looked like a lump of frozen and stone fell together after centuries beneath the sea. For years, the object attracted little attention. Then scientists looked closer. What they found would completely change our understanding of an ancient technology. Inside the corroded mass was a complex system of interlocking gears, thousands of them. Precision make present gears carefully arranged with the mechanical device unlike anything were discovered from the ancient world. Today, it's known as the Antikythera Mechanism, and many historians declare it as the world's first analog computer. The device is believed to have been created sometime between the 2nd and 1st century BCE. That means it was more than 2,000 years ago. To put that into perspective, its machine existed when the Roman Republic was still expanding across the Mediterranean. More than 1,000 years before the mechanical clock of medieval Europe, and nearly 2 million before modern computers. At first, scholars struggled to understand what they were looking at. The complexity seemed impossible, and soon civilization were known for impressive architecture, mathematics, and astronomy. But a machine with this level of mechanical sophistication appeared completely out of place. Some experts initially suspected the gear belonged to a much later device that has somehow become mixed with the secret. Yes, further analysis confirmed the truth. The mechanism was genuinely ancient, and it was unlike anything historians had ever been. As technology improved, researchers were able to examine components hidden inside the corroded fragment. The results were astonishing. The Antikythera Mechanism was designed to calculate astronomical events. By turning a handle, users could predict the position of the sun and moon. The device could track lunar cycle, forecast eclipse and possibility even calculate the movement of several known planets. It functions as sophisticated astronomical calculator, a machine capable of modeling the heaven. The front of the device displays celestial information through a series of rotating indicators. The bag contains intricate dials that track long-term astronomical cycle every year serve a purpose. Every component was part of an interconnected system designed to transform mathematical knowledge into mechanical motion. From where you observe, the achievement is difficult to comprehend. Building such a device requires advanced understanding of astronomy, mathematics, engineering, and metalworking. The gear has to be manufactured with extraordinary precision. The calculation has to be accurate. The entire system has to be operated reliably. This was not the work of a single clever craftsman improvising a simple machine. It represents a highly developed tradition of technical knowledge. Yes, that's right, an important question. If ancient engineers were capable of building something this advanced, where are the other machines? That mystery continues to puzzle historians today. No other surviving device rival the Antikythera Mechanism in complexity until more than 1,000 years later. Some researchers believe similar machines once existed but simply failed to survive. Resin was valuable through option methods that for the use. Wooden components would have a decay over time. Entire collection of ancient technology may have disappeared through wars, natural disaster, and the passage of centuries. The Antikythera Mechanism may be the lone survivor of a much larger tradition, or it may have been an extraordinary masterpiece unlike anything else produced in its area. No one knows for certain. The discovery also reveals something important about the ancient Greeks. Their achievement was not limited to philosophy, art, and architecture. They possessed a level of scientific and engineering knowledge far beyond that what many people once imagined. The mechanism demonstrates an understanding of mechanical design that would not become common again for many centuries. In many ways, it was a machine ahead of its time. Even today, researchers continue to study the device. New emerging techniques reveal previously hidden inscriptions. Computer models have reconstructed missing components. Its discovery provides new clues about how the mechanism functions and who may have built it. Some scholars have linked its design to tradition associated with great Greek thinkers such as Archimedes and Hipparchus, but the full story remains uncertain. More than a century after its discovery, the Antikythera Mechanism continues to inspire wonder, not because it suggests the existence of less futuristic technology, but because it revealed the extraordinary ingenuity of the ancient world. It reminds us that innovation is not unique to the modern age. 2,000 years ago, someone looked at the modern movement of heaven and imagined a machine capable of predicting them. Then they built it, and in doing so, they created one of the most remarkable technological achievements in human history. Even so advanced that when it was finally discovered, the modern world could hardly believe its real. Part 3. Remain concentrate the material that reveals today. Across the ancient world, countless buildings have disappeared, earth rooted away, brick crumbled, stone structure collapsed under the force of earthquake, storm, and tide. Yet throughout the Mediterranean, many Roman structures continue to stand after nearly 2,000 years. Massive hybrids still resist the sea, and ancient aqueducts remain remarkably intact. And one of Rome's most famous buildings still possesses world's largest unreinforced concrete dome. These structures have survived wars, invasion, natural disaster, and centuries of exposure to the elements. Their endurance raises an important question. And how did the Romans built materials so durable that many modern structures struggle to master. The answer lies in one of the most remarkable technologies of the ancient world, Roman concrete. At first glance, concrete seems ordinary is one of the most common building materials used today. Modern cities are built from it. Bridges depend on it. Roads, dams, tunnels, and skyscrapers all rely on concrete in some form. Yes, the concrete used by the Rome was very different from the material we use today, and in some ways it may have been superior. The Romans did not invent concrete itself. Earlier civilizations had experimented with similar materials, but the Romans refined the technology to an extraordinary level. They transformed it into one of the foundations of their empire. Beginning around the 3rd century BC, Roman engineers started using a mixture that combined lime, volcanic ash, water, and various types of stone. The result was a material that could be molded into almost any shape. Unlike traditional stone construction, which required enormous blocks to be cast and transported, concrete could be poured directly into wooden forms. This gave Roman architects unprecedented freedom. They could build larger structures, more close structures, and structures that would have been nearly impossible using traditional method alone. One of the great examples is Pantheon in Rome. Complete nearly 2,000 years ago, the building remains one of the best preserved monuments of the ancient world. Its enormous concrete dome continues to inspire engineers today. Even more architects admire the precision and ambition in its design. The fact that it still stands after so many centuries is a testament to the remarkable durability of Roman engineering. But perhaps it's more impressive. Rome's ancient harbors normally seawater is highly attractive through concrete. Over time, salts and moisture weaken modern materials, causing cracks and structural damage. Germany Roman harbor structure have survived for centuries while constantly exposed through walls, waves, and seawater. For a long time, scientists struggled to understand why the answer emerged through modern research. The scientists analyzed ancient Rome concrete. They discovered something unexpected. The material continued to change long after its hardened. Seawater interacting with volcanic mineral structure chemical reaction inside the concrete. Over time, new mineral crystals form within thin cracks. Instead of weakening the structure, these reactions often strengthen it. In some cases, the material appears capable of partially repairing itself. This phenomenon fascinates researchers. Modern concrete generally deteriorate as cracks develop. Roman concrete sometimes behave differently. Certain cracks became filled with newly formed minerals that have reinforced the structure. The material was not truly alive, of course, but its chemistry allowed it to become more durable over time under specific conditions. Scientists studying Roman concrete believe these properties are linked to the volcanic ash used in its production. Much of this ash came from regions around the Bay of Naples. The unique composition of the material creates chemical reaction, rarely seen in modern construction methods. As researchers continue to study ancient samples, they hope to apply some of these lessons to contemporary engineering. The implications are significant. Modern infrastructure requires enormous resources to maintain and replace. If an engineer can develop more durable materials inspired by Roman techniques, future building tools potential last much longer while reducing environmental costs. In this way, ancient technology may have some modern problem. Yes, Roman's career remains remarkable for another reason. This helped make the Roman Empire possible. The material allowed engineers to construct roads, bridges, aqueducts, amphitheaters, temples, baths, and sport on an unprecedented scale. Infrastructure connected this distant region. City expanded, trade boundaries, concrete became one of the hidden technologies that supported one of the history's greatest empires. Without it, Rome may have looked very different. The story of Roman conquest challenges common assumptions about technological progress. We often imagine that never neural and automatically means better, that modern materials must always surpass ancient ones, but history is rarely that simple. Sometimes vulnerable knowledge is forgotten, sometimes techniques disappear, and sometimes ancient innovation continue to outperform modern alternatives in surprising ways. Today, researchers around the world are still studying the secret of Roman conquest. Its new discovery reveals greater appreciation for the skill and ingenuity of ancient engineers. 2,000 years ago, Roman builders created a material capable of surviving the rise and fall of empires, a material that continued to endure long after its creators are gone. And perhaps the most astonishing part is this: the people who built it never imagined scientists would still be studying their work thousands of years later. Yes, their concrete remains a silent reminder that some of the most advanced technology in history are also among the oldest. Part 4. The Baghdad Battery, an ancient electrical mystery. In 1936, while excavating near Baghdad in modern-day Iraq, archaeologists uncovered an object that would spark one of the most unusual debates in the history of archaeology. At first glance, it did not appear particularly impressive. It was a small clay jar, only about 15 centimeters tall. Nothing about its appearance suggested that it might become one of the most conventional ancient artifacts ever discovered. Yes, hidden inside the jar was a curious arrangement of copper clad, an iron rod, and traces of materials that may once have held an acidic liquid. To some researchers, the object looked surprisingly familiar. It resembled a simple battery. If that interpretation was correct, it would mean that people living nearly 2,000 years ago and may have understood basic electrical principles long before the modern age. The artifact soon became known as the Baghdad Battery, and ever since its discovery, historians, scientists, and archaeologists have debated one central question: did the ancient world really discover electricity? The object is believed to date to the Parthian or early Sasanian period, sometime between the 3rd century BC and the 3rd century CE. This was an era when powerful kingdoms controlled much of the region between the Roman Empire and Central Asia. A trade flourished, qualities traveled across continents, and major cities became centers of culture and innovation. The clay jar itself was relatively simple, but when researchers examined its components, they noticed something intriguing. The iron rod that sat inside the copper cylinder without directly touching it. This arrangement resembled the basic structure used in modern electric chemical cells. In theory, if the jars were filled with an acidic liquid such as vinegar or grape juice, a small electric current could be produced. To this idea, scientists built replicas of the artifact. The result was surprising. The replicas generate small amounts of electricity, not much, only a fraction of a modern battery, but it also demonstrates that the design could function as an electrical cell. Suddenly, a fascinating possibility emerged. Perhaps ancient craftsmen had discovered a way to generate electricity. If so, what did they use it for? One popular theory involved electroplating. Electroplating used electricity to coat one metal with a thin layer of another. Some researchers suggested that Baghdad Battery may have been used to apply gold or sleeve coating to jewelry and decorative objects. The idea captured public imagination. Ancient electricity, ancient batteries, ancient technology far ahead of its time. It sounded almost unbelievable, and that is precisely why many experiment skeptical. Despite case of discussion, there is no direct evidence that the artifact was ever used as a battery. No wires were found. No electrical device accompanied the wire. Yes, no ancient text described the use of electricity, and no clear electroplating was linked to the objects have been discovered. Many archaeologists argue that the artifact likely served a completely different purpose, and believe it may have been a storage container for scarce scrolls or documents. Others suggest it had a religious or ceremonial function. Still others think it may simply have been a container whose true purpose remains unknown. The challenge is that archaeology often deals with incomplete evidence. Objects survive, context does not always survive with them. Without writing records explaining how it was used, certainly remains impossible. This uncertainty is what makes the Baghdad Battery is so fascinating. Unlike many archaeological discoveries, there are no universally accepted explanation. The artifacts exist in a gray area between possibility and mystery. Science can demonstrate that it could produce electricity, but demonstrating what something could do is not the same as providing what it actually did. That distinction is important. Throughout history, they have sometimes exaggerated the implication of the Baghdad Battery. Claims have been made that ancient civilizations posed advanced electrical system or forgotten technology far beyond anything known through historians. There is no credible evidence supporting such idea. The object, if its function as battery at all, would have produced only a very small electrical charge. It's not capable of powering machine, lighting city, or transforming society. This mystery remains valuable precisely because it covers careful investigation. It's rare that the ancient world still contained unanswered questions. Not every artifact fits neatly into our existing understanding of history. Sometimes discovery challenge assumptions. Sometimes they reveal unexpected possibilities, and sometimes they force us to admit that we simply do not know the answer. So the Baghdad Battery remains one of the archaeology's most debated artifacts. Some researchers continue exploring the electrical theory. Others reject it entirely. The debate may continue for years to come, but regardless of its true purpose, the artifact has earned a unique place in history. Not because it's proof that ancient people mastered electricity, but because it reminds how much remains uncertain about the past. A small clay discovered beneath the spoil of Iraq continues to spark questions nearly 2,000 years after it was created, and perhaps is a real lesson of the Baghdad Battery. The most intriguing mysteries are not always the ones we solve. Sometimes we are the ones that continue to challenge us long after they are discovered. Past 5. The Incas and their impossible engineering. High in Andes Mountain of South America's grass, a carved steppe and rock landscape stand some of the most remarkable engineering achievements in the ancient world. Massive stone walls, mountain roads stretching across thousands of kilometers, terrace cave into impossible terrace, structures that have survived a quake for centuries. The accomplishments were created by the Inca civilization, a civilization that built one of the largest empires in America without iron tools, wealth, transportation, or written language as we know it. Even today, many of their engineering achievements continue to emerge archaeologists and engineers alike. The Inca Empire emerged during the 15th century and rapidly expanded across West and South America. And at height, each controlled territory stretching from modern-day Cambodia to Chile. Millions of people live within its border. Connecting such a vast empire was an enormous challenge. The landscape itself seemed almost impossible to conquer. Towering mountains, deep valleys, fast-moving rivers, and dramatic change in elevation. Yet the Incas found solutions that allowed their civilization to flourish. One of their greatest achievements was their road network. Known as the Aquapagna, the system extended for more than 40,000 kilometers. It connected city, village, military outposts, and administrative centers throughout their empire. Some roads crossed high mountain pass more than 5,000 meters above sea level. Other rivers offer step cliff suspension bridge made from moving plant fibers allow travelers to cross deep rocks and rocking rivers. The scale of the network was extraordinary in many ways. Its function as the backbone of the empire. Messengers could carry information across the vast distance. A mile could move quickly when necessary. Goods and resources could be transported between regions. The road system helped unite one of the largest political empires in the ancient world. Yet roads were only part of the story. The true mystery lay in the stonework itself. It seemed much as a success human near Castle visitor encounter was built from enormous stone blocks. Some weigh more than 100 tons. The stone fits together its astonishing precision. In many places, it is impossible to insert even a thin blade between abstraction blocks. No matter hold them together, no cement lie them in place. Yet the walls remain standing after centuries of a quake. This level of precision raises a fierce question. How did the Incas achieve it? The civilization possessed no iron tools capable of cutting stone in the modern sense. They had no cranes, no heavy machinery, and no grabbed animal capable of pulling enormous load. Nevertheless, they moved and set massive stone which extraordinary accuracy. Researchers believe in case use of combination of stone tools represents a technique carefully planning and large labor force. By patiently sapping each block to match neighboring stone, they created a structure of remarkable strength. The process was labor-intensive but highly effective. The result was a style of construction unlike most anything else in the ancient world. Even more impressive was the way the structure responded to earthquake. The index one of the most seismically active regions on Earth. Many modern buildings have been damaged, or irregular shape of the stone allows slight movement during seismic events. Instead of correcting under pressure, the block shifts and set before returning to position. These engineers design half structures by forces that may have destroyed more frigate buildings. The Incas also demonstrated remarkable skill in agriculture. Much of them to solve this problem, they constructed extensive terraces along hillsides, These terraces created fast space for cultivation while reducing erosion and controlling water flow. Some terraces remain functional even today. They otherwise have been unsuitable for large-scale agriculture. Water management was another area in which Incas excelled. It built canals, drainage system, and fountains that distributed water efficiently throughout settlements. A site such as Machu Picchu, this system continued to function centuries after construction. Their effectiveness demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of hydraulics and landscape management. What makes Inca engineering so fascinating is not simple what they built, it's how they built it. Their achievements were accomplished using resources that modern observe was considered limited. Yet through carefully observation, practical knowledge, and extraordinary craftsmanship, they create solutions perfectly adapted to their environment. The Incas understood their environment, they understood stone, they understood water, and they transformed that understanding into infrastructure capable of supporting millions of people. Today, their roots is still across the Andes, their terrain still shapes the landscape, their walls will still withstand earthquake, and their achievements continue to challenge assumptions about what ancient civilizations were capable of accomplishing. The Inca Empire may have fallen centuries ago, but its enduring legacy remains a powerful reminder that technological brilliance does not always depend on advanced machines. Sometimes it depends on understanding the world so well that you can work with nature instead of against it. Classic Greek fire, the weapon that could burn on water. Throughout history, powerful civilizations have relied on technological ships or more effective weapons. But few military technologies inspired atmosphere and materials and substance known today as Greek fire. For centuries, it had protected an empire from destruction. It terrified opposing enemies. It ensured the outcome of major battles, and perhaps most remarkably, its secret formula was eventually lost. Eventually, historians cannot say with complexity how it was made. Greek fire remains one of the greatest technological mysteries of the ancient world. Its story begins in the 7th century CE. In this time, the Byzantine Empire, the instant continuation of the Roman Empire, faced enormous challenge. Powerful enemies surrounded it. Now empire was expanding rapidly across the Middle East and North Africa. Constantinople, the Byzantine capital, stood as one of the richest and most important cities in the world. Protecting its was essential. During this period, a man known as Callinicos is often credited with developing a revolutionary equipment. According to historical accounts, he was an engineer or architect who fled through Byzantine territory and brought with him knowledge of a remarkable incendiary substance. This substance would later become known as Greek fire, the fire of water. Attempts to extinguish it often fail. In some accounts, pouring water onto flame only made the fire spread more aggressively. Through sailor engaged in naval warfare, the effect must have seemed almost supernatural. Image seeing a stream of fire launched from an enemy's ship. Watching it strike the sea, then realizing the flames were still advancing towards you. For Byzantine enemies, it was a nightmare. The Byzantine developed a specialized device to destroy the weapon. Historical descriptions suggest that ships were equipped with brilliant turrets mounted near the bow. These terms function somewhat like ancient flamethrowers. A precise system projects burning liquid towards enemy vessel. As the flaming substance struck its target, fire spreads rapidly across burning ships. Entire fleets could be thrown into chaos. The equipment became particularly important during several major sieges of Constantinople. In the 7th and 8th century, enemy fleets attempted to capture the city. Again and again, Greek fire played a critical role in defending the Byzantine capital. The weapon helped repel attacks that may otherwise have succeeded. Some historians believe it contributed significantly to the survival of the Byzantine Empire during some of its most dangerous moments. If Constantinople had fallen during this early siege, the course of Europe and Middle East history might have been very different. Yet despite its importance, the exact composition of Greek fire remains unknown. Byzantine authorities treated the formula as one of the empire's most closely guarded secrets. Polish was restricted productions were controlled, detail was carefully protected from outside. As generations passed, the secrets remained within a small circle of specialists. This secrecy helped maintain the weapon's effectiveness. Enemies could not easily reproduce what they did not understand. Eventually, however, the college disappeared. Wars, potential political instability, and the gradual decline of Byzantine power likely contributed to the loss. By the time the empire itself collapsed in 1453, the original formula appeared to have finished. No surviving document provide a complete receipt. As a result, more researchers have spent centuries trying to solve this mystery. Numerous theories have been proposed. Many, especially Greek fire, contain petroleum-based substances such as naphtha. Others suggest combinations involving sulfur, pyroxene, quicklime, or various oils. Some experimental constructions have produced substances with similar purpose. Yet none can be confirmed as the original formula. The evidence is simply incomplete. Part of the challenge comes from the nature of historical source. Descriptions written by witnesses are often vague. Writers focus on the dramatic effects rather than precise chemical details. They describe flames, smoke, terror, but rarely provide enough information to fully reconstruct the weapon. As a result, Greek fire occupy a unique place in history. Its technology we know exists. A technology that clearly worked. A technology that influenced military history for centuries. This one who exact secrets remain hidden. What makes the story especially fascinating is that it challenges our assumptions about technological progress. We often imagine that knowledge constantly accumulates. That once something is discovered, it remains available forever. But history is so otherwise. Knowledge can disappear, technique can be forgotten, entire technology can vanish when the societies that created them collapse. Greek fire is one of the most famous examples. A military innovation so valuable that empires forced to protect its secrets, and so fragile that those secrets eventually disappeared altogether. Today, Greek fire continues to inspire historians, chemists, and engineers, not because it's quite magical, but because it demonstrates the remarkable ingenuity of the people who create. More than 1,000 years ago, Byzantine engineers developed a weapon unlike anything their enemies had ever seen. A weapon that helped defend an empire. A weapon that burned upon the sea itself. A weapon whose great secrets are never fully recovered. Part 7. How much ancient knowledge have we lost? As we have seen throughout this journey, the ancient world was far more sophisticated than many people imagine. The Antikythera Mechanism reveal a level of mechanical engineering that seemed impossible for its time. Roman concrete demonstrates material science that modern researchers are still trying to fully understand. The Baghdad Battery range in building question about faculty experimentation. The Incas built infrastructure capable of surviving some of the harshest environment on Earth, and Greeks fire saw how a technological secret could influence the fate of empire before disappearing forever. Its examples challenge a common assumption. We believe that technological progress always moves a straight line, from simple to complex, from primitive to advanced, from ancient to modern. History is rarely that simple. Knowledge can be gained, but it can also be lost. Entire civilizations have disappeared. Libraries have burned. Cities have been abandoned. Empires have collapsed. And when they did, valuable knowledge sometimes vanished. With one of the greatest symbols in the Library of Alexandria, although historians still debate the detail its decline, it remains a symbol of lost knowledge. For centuries, scholars gathered texts from across the ancient world. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, geography, philosophy. No one knows exactly how much information was ultimately lost, but it serves as a powerful reminder that knowledge is fragile. Even the most important discoveries can disappear if they cannot be preserved. The story of Greek fire demonstrates this perfectly. The weapon existed, its effectiveness was proven. Historical accounts describe it repeatedly, yet the formula itself vanished. A technology once known by experts became a mystery for future generations. Roman concrete presents a different lesson. The material never completely disappears, but some of the techniques behind it were forgotten for centuries. Only through modern scientific analysis have the researchers begun to understand why it was so durable. In other words, the technology survived, but the knowledge explaining it did not. This raises an important question. How many other technologies have been lost? How many inventions were created, used, and eventually forgotten? History rarely preserves everything. For ancient objects never survive, books decay, material corrode, document deteriorate. The archaeological records is incomplete by nature. What the discovery represents only a teeny fraction of what once existed. Imagine future archaeologists trying to understand our own civilization thousands of years from now. Most individual information would likely be gone. Computer would no longer function. Severe server would have experienced. Many of the technology we rely on every day might leave little trace behind. Their challenge would be similar to ours, trying to reconstruct an entire wood from scratch fragments. This perspective perhaps explains why archaeological discoveries are so important. Every artifact tells a part of a large story. Every new discovery fills a gap in our understanding, and every mystery reminds us how much remains unknown. Yes, there's another lesson hidden within these ancient technologies. The people who created them were not fundamentally different from us. They observed the world, asked questions, solved problems, experimented with new ideas. They were engineers, inventors, craftsmen, and innovators, just like the people who develop technologies today. So often, when underestimate the intelligence of ancient civilization, they assume that because it lacked modern tools, they lacked advanced thinking. The evidence tells a very different story. Again and again, archaeology reveals extraordinary creativity, sophisticated engineering, carefulness of scientific observation, and solutions perfectly adapted to the challenges of their time. The ancient world was not a world of ignorance. It was a world of innovation, a world filled with brilliant minds whose achievements still influence us today. Perhaps that is why these technologies continue to fascinate us, not because they are mysterious, not because they suggest impossible explanations, but because they remind us that human ingenuity has always existed across culture, across continents, across thousands of years, and perhaps the greatest mystery is not how advanced ancient technology were. Perhaps the greatest mystery is how many others have disappeared without a trace, how many discoveries vanished when the libraries merged, how many breakthroughs remain buried beneath deserts, forests, mountains, or ocean waiting to be found. Because history is not merely the story of what survived. It's also the story of what was forgotten, and somewhere beneath the surface of our world, there may still be discoveries capable of changing everything we think we know about the past.